YouTube yet, so let me click that, and then we'll get started. All right, we are officially live. Welcome everyone to the Sankofa University YouTube channel. Our goal is to educate, inspire African people throughout the diaspora in America and abroad. I'm your host, Ama Ohema, and for tonight's episode, I am sitting down with MCE Soul Muzik, members specifically Obafemi, Brother Obafemi, and Brother Cedrick, or Ced Adamz. And let's see. So basically, MCE Soul Muzik are cultural custodians, and they aim to use their music to inspire and inform African people in a place of love. They explore themes such as Pan-Africanism and African liberation. And here they are. So just give him like a nice warm welcome and everything. Brother Obafemi, you guys remember him from the previous episode, back in March. We were sitting down talking about Pan-Africanism and education, and now he's back with MCE Soul Muzik. I'm going to be asking them questions related to their career, and also like the impact of hip hop and social justice movements, culture, and film. So please give us a big warm welcome to Brother Obafemi and Brother Ced Adamz.
Peace, 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 peace. Thank you for having us, Sister Ama. You know what I'm saying? This is a great opportunity, and again, thank you for this chance to just get to speak to the community, speak to our people, and this part of doing what we do. So we just like to do it through the music.
Okay, all right. Guys, you really have to check out their music. MCE Soul Muzik is fire. I promise you. Please go like and subscribe to their channel. The link is actually in the description. So please check out their music, support these brothers. They're actually doing a lot of great work in the community. And yes, like just go support them, support their music. It's really good. I wouldn't tell you any different, but yeah. So I really wanted to break down this interview, starting with you guys and your careers and like how you guys got started, and then going into like the impact of hip hop in our culture in America and also like around the world, and just like how certain social ills in our community that happened in the past, how did that impact hip hop? Because just listening to your guys' music, it really took me back to like Public Enemy or X Clan, and like how just looking at that and how hip hop has changed like throughout the years and even up to this very day, I would say that it's not the same as it was before. And I'll get to that in as we go through the interview. But just to start off, how did MCE Soul Muzik come into existence? Like, how did you guys come?
Hello. Go ahead, bro.
The mic went out. I didn't know. Short story with me starting off. I was doing like solo stuff, and I was just not getting any recording, so I needed beats, of course, to get started. And that's when I met my brother Obafemi, and he had beats for me. I was buying beats from him, and next thing I know, we were both liking, the stuff that we were talking about, and so we decided to just collab on, some of those beats that he had. And that's kind of the short version I had started for like D and MC. We started like MNC, and the E is my brother-in-law, who is the singer of the So if you heard some of the music, you may have heard somebody singing in there. That's the E part of it. But long story short, I was buying beats from him, and we kind of clicked because of the content that we both were bringing to the music.
Yeah, so I'll just add, we both been doing music for quite some time. I started writing rhymes in '97. I started recording in 2000. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of met around, I would say, about 2005, 2006, something like that. And like I said, I was producing quite a bit, so I was making beats, stuff like that, and mutual friend kind of introduced us. I produced some beats on said first solo project, and when I heard the whole project, you know what I'm saying, it just took me like, yo, this is what I need to be doing in my music. Like I was putting some stuff in there, but not to the way he was doing it. So we just decided to collab and work on something collectively. Like you said, that became MCE, and then E kind of came in, on the first project. You know what I'm saying? Our first project is called Knowledge Itself Volume 1, and so you'll hear E on there too. So we decided to be MCE when he came into the group Eshmalek. So that's what it is.
Okay. Okay. Did you guys hear like an echo, or was it just me? Is it like a lag? Yeah, brother Obafemi. I was just confused because I thought there was like a lag going on, at least on my end. Do you guys get like a lag? Okay. Okay. Did you guys hear like an echo, or was it just me? Is it like a lag? Yeah, brother Obafemi. I was just confused because I thought there was like a lag going on, at least on my end. Do you guys get like a lag? You guys get like a lag? Okay. Sorry about that. I thought there was like a lag going on. But thank you so much for sharing that information. Going on to the next question. Who are your biggest inspirations or influences when it comes to your music?
For me, I mean, our people in general inspire me. But as far as like content, other artists, from Marvin Gaye to, some of our scholars like Ashra Kwesi, Khalid Muhammad. I mean, like I said, my family, my children, like, I find inspiration from many different places. So just musically, just the legacy of Black music is inspiring for me. Like, I want to have a positive contribution on the music scape when it comes to what I choose to record and put out here for the people to hear. So, you know, that's where I'm at.
Okay, wonderful, cool. Let's see. In your opinion, like considering what you guys just said about our like how like our heroes and sheroes from our culture like inspired you guys, what is the purpose of music and Black African culture? What purpose does it?
Um, music. I mean, music is a very integral part of just African life in general. Like we, you know what I'm saying? It's very hard to imagine life without music. For me, you know, it's that woven within our fabric of our everyday lives. So um, I think that music is meant to inspire us. And, you know, and that inspiration could be to do many different things. You know what I'm saying? Like it can inspire you to think. Um, you know, I had experience in the military where, you know, when we used to do our physical training or marches and things like this, like there was always song, there was always cadence. And this is, we're talking about military. So understanding that music can be used as a tool or a weapon, depending on its purpose or intent, like I have to be consciously aware of what I choose to put into the music. So I think that the role that music has for us, it should be to bring us closer together. It should be to unite us. It should make us feel good about ourselves. I know every day ain't all peaches and cream, but you know, it should give us a sense of feeling of self-worth and value. Our music should do that. So
Brother Cedrick, do you have anything to say or add to that? Wait, hold on. Hold on. Excellent.
Hello.
All right, now I can hear. Okay,
Okay.
now I
I
can
was
hear
wondering.
you. Okay, good.
Okay, because you probably didn't hear me on the other question either, man. I must be on mute.
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
The question is the
mhm.
purpose of music. Well, to
Yeah.
me, this is to inspire. You know, and like he just said, it can be used as a tool. It can be used as a weapon. You know, and so when you're putting out music that's inspiring people, then it's used as a tool. You know what I'm saying? Instead of as a weapon just to make money off of. You know what I'm saying? To keep people in a certain condition. I know when I hear certain songs, certain music, it takes me back to a different era. Like you said, you listen to our music, it took you like to public enemy, excellent. You know, I have times when I listen to music, it does that for me. So it can inspire or be used also.
Right, absolutely. Considering that, like being conscientious or like very like what lyrics do you guys use and what message that you guys want to portray? Do you think that musicians and performers in our community have a responsibility, like to be, like, consider like what lyrics do we want to put out there? What message do we want to put out there? Because some people
Mm-hmm.
may say, "Oh, well, it's just music. Like, why does it really matter? Like, what you say? Like, oh, it's just music, So considering that, like, do you think musicians and performers have a responsibility to our community? And if so, what is that responsibility?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm gonna answer that question on my opinion. When I saw that question, I thought about like the Harlem Renaissance, and I thought, what about the Harlem Renaissance? How do we know about the Harlem Renaissance? you know, from artists, from photographers, from musicians, from singers, and different people painted that picture of what we know about the Harlem Renaissance. So those entertainers and performers, you know, felt the need to, you know, stamp a time in history for us, you know, as Black people to see that and mimic in kind of way, you know. So I think, yeah, performers and musicians, we got a responsibility, definitely.
Oh, I just add on to what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of my I love to use this quote. It's from great ancestor Amiri Baraka. He said, the artist's role is to raise the consciousness of the people. You know what I'm saying? And when I heard that, it just like it clicked. Like, man, back in I think in the 90s, there was like a hip hop documentary called Reason and Rhyme. You know what I'm saying? Like, rhyme and reason. Like, you know, why are you doing what you do, or why do you do the type of music that you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the purpose? That's what's at the root of that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, just listening to our musical history from, you know, being in the United States, like, I hear that the struggle and I hear resistance in our music. From, you know, jazz was considered, that was race music. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was it was almost taboo. So folks didn't want to touch it to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? They said it was demonic. It was devil music. You know, and I mean, hip hop got them same labels. It's a fad. It ain't gonna last. It's bad. It's this, like, so I look at that. Yes, we definitely, artists have a responsibility to help move and shift the culture as depending on the society and the social, economic, political climate that we in. Like, we have a role in pushing a certain narrative to help to keep the people informed. So
Yeah, I totally agree. Like what Amir Baraka said, bless that ancestor. The goal of artists is to raise the consciousness of the people. So there is a responsibility in terms of, like, you have to be conscious, or you have to be aware, like, what lyrics that you put out there, what message do you put out there, especially, like, for our young people who listen to this stuff, like, they're very impressionable. So if I'm putting out music like that's related to, like, Black consciousness, Pan-Africanism, African liberation, that's what they're going to aspire to do. That's what they're going to aspire to look into, look up to. But if I put out lyrics calling, you know, Black women these horrible names, gang banging, drug culture, then that's what's going to draw their attention, unfortunately. And again, it just goes back to music and its role to raise our people in terms of, like, their consciousness, and also to reflect issues that are going on in our society today. So it's very important that artists understand that, upcoming artists understand that. And I take it back to, like, this song. Okay, I don't know I forgot the artist. I can't think of them right now. But they said F the police. That song, F the police. You guys are aware of that song? Yeah. So, you know, a lot of Urugus, or, you know, Europeans, they didn't like that. But let it be something like gang banging or us killing each other. They have no issue with that, right? But let it be something like F the police, right? Now it's an issue.
I mean, and just like, you know, like what you just said, like, this is a dynamic. There it was a time where hip hop was a reflection of what was going on. Now it's like reflecting what's going on reflects off what hip hop does. And so that's a total shift change. And to me, that's because of the capital that comes with hip hop now. You know, the money you can make from it. So that's the goal for some guys. You know, some guys do want to talk about, you know, Black power. They do want to talk about upliftment, but that don't fill the pocket. You know, so that has to be a shift to change in that.
I also add to it something that you said, Amma, about like how, you know, the youth, if they hearing about the drugs and the gang banging, like they'll gravitate to that. But on the flip side, if they hearing, stuff about Black power, African liberation, they'll gravitate toward that. I think the key in that is they can hear the gang banging stuff and stuff like that, and there's a society that helps to reinforce that. There's institutions, there are things that's in the community that help to reinforce that. When we talking Black liberation and Black power and all of this, the people who are consciously aware of this, if we ain't creating the institutions and things in the community for them to gravitate towards, it's gonna fall on deaf ears because they can't see it. They can see the drug dealer, they can see the car in the neighborhood, they can see the drug. You understand what I'm saying? So we have a role and responsibility to not only talk about it, we gotta be about it. We gotta show and demonstrate what we talking about in the community. You understand what I'm saying? So
right, exactly. It's not just about talking it or singing it, it's about actually doing it, right? Because the thing about the mind is that it goes up like what it mainly takes in like what's visual. We can talk Pan-Africanism all day, but unless we see it in action, then it's not going to be as effective. It's not just talking about it and singing about it. We actually have to go do the work, right? Because it's manifesting into like the reality of our youth. Okay, we're listening to Pan-Africanism and African liberation, but now I'm surrounded by all these positive influences. See, it's negativity, it's not going to be as effective, like I said before. So again, that's a really good point. It's not just creating the content, it's also creating the reality that matches with the message. Okay, and with that being said, specifically going into hip hop, what is the cultural impact of hip hop in our community, both in America and abroad?
You want to go, bro?
The cultural impact on our community, man, it's I mean, hip hop is one of America's largest exports. You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop culture and music and everything that's around this is marketed and being promoted all across the world, like to where other countries have their own hip hop industries now. You know what I'm saying? Like this thing is huge. But what the direct impact it has on our community here in the United States, the corporate control of our music is a major problem because it only pushes a one-side narrative of what Black people are really about. If you just turn on the radio station and listen for 24 hours, you're going to think Black people some of the most narcissistic, ego-driven, material-driven, no morals, you know what I'm saying? Overly sexual, like, gun-toting, like,
that's
what you're going to think about us. because you don't really get a balance in it. You know what I'm saying? In I would say the most promoted stream. I don't like to say mainstream because they not my mainstream. They not my mainstream of where I get my music from. So they not mainstream for me. But go ahead, bro.
No, I'm just piggybacking off what you said. Hip hop affects us in the way that jazz and blues probably affected, you know what I'm saying, our fathers in them back in the day. You know, you wanted to emulate Miles Davis. So a lot of dudes picked up a saxophone, you know, picked up a horn, and, you know what I'm saying? They wanted to emulate Jimi Hendrix, picked up a guitar. And it's the same thing today. You know, guys will pick up a microphone, but those guys then wanted to be cool like Miles, and they wanted to work on that craft. Now is I pick up a microphone, I know I can make some money. So like I said, it's a capitalistic society that we live in. That's why we get the brunt of the music that we got coming out with. That's why people say there's no substance in it. But this is society that we're in. You know what I'm saying? It's money based. So that's what they're gonna gravitate towards.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Like, and hip hop is our creation, but we don't have any control over it, which is pretty sad. And then on top of that, like, correct me if I'm wrong, like when it comes down to upcoming artists, like they get paid to put those negative lyrics out there. Like it's really hard to come across like a song like on the media that's like positive, uplifting. Like, like it's pretty rare, like, and it's sad really, because like with the content that you guys put out there, like positive and uplifting, you're not gonna find that on the media for a specific reason. But anything that relates like gang banging, drug dealing, just negativity, it's automatically gonna be pushed and it's automatically gonna be like popularized compared to something, the music that you guys put out there, or like back in the day, like like X Clan or Public Enemy or other artists around that time. And that kind of reminds me, like a question I had: how do we get from like these positive images, like from back in the 70s and the 80s, those positive messages, like Black liberation, Black empowerment? How do we get from that to like where we are today? Like, what happened between then and now?
I'm gonna go back to my answer earlier. It was once upon a time that hip hop was a reflection of what we had going on, like the streets. So now it's flipped over. The streets are a reflection of what is put out in mainstream. And you gotta take in consideration, like when you hear a song, 30 to 40 people sat in the room and listened to the song before the song came out. You know what I'm saying? If you see a commercial, 30, 40 people sat in the room before this commercial came out and agreed to put this commercial out. So that's the control that's going on. That's why we see the change in the narrative that we have going on. It's so much money made from hip hop. We as an individual got to say to ourselves, I can't trade my soul just for some change. And if everybody would take that stance to do that, then you wouldn't see what you see right now. Then we'll have a deeper control on what's put out here. But since we want to change and we're signing the contracts and different stuff like that, we get what we have. You know what I'm saying? That type of control they have over the youth. That's my opinion.
I'll say that like as far as music, like you referred to like X Clan, Public Enemy and stuff like that. Like, I grew up hearing some of those groups, but I also listened to the Fat Boys. You know what I'm saying? I listened to Run DMC. I listened to, I had a range of things that I listened to. I listened to MC Hammer. I listened to Two Live Crew. Like I was able to take in and listen to a wide range of music. But I not only listened to rap, I also listened to R&B. I listened to jazz. I listened to reggae. I listen to a lot of forms of music, and it helped me just to have an appreciation for the art form. I think where the shift change came, I think because of, for one, of course, the money. And did I mention the money? You know what I'm saying? Like the amount of money that's being made. And I do think there's an effort behind the scenes that wanted to filter out these type of messages in our music because of the possible influence. Like the Kerner Commission, I think the artist Wise Intelligent from the group Poor Righteous Teachers brought up. He talked about the Kerner Commission, and they studied the Black Power movement of the late 60s and early 70s. And they said what was fueling the youth to rebel and riot was the music.
The music.
And so, in the 70s, you start getting the blaxploitation movies coming out. You know what I'm saying? No longer folks talking about Black power. It's about pimping and being a player and the prostitute, and I'm a hustler. And it's not about the people no more. It's more individualistic. And, you can see that also in the music we had these groups, the R&B groups and the rap groups. They started to break these groups apart. And it became more about the individual. The more individualistic they made us, the more they can erode the moral fabric of the people, because we've always been a communal people. And when they break us up, it's easier to break you down, because we found strength in that group. So.
Right. Like, as you said, like during in the past, like when our people would rebel and go against the government or European society, one of the main influence was the music that we were listening to, right? So the Fight the Power, and just other songs that were being put out there that really drove what was going on. But once these Urubus came in, started breaking us up, that's when we saw the change in the music. The more, I'm gonna offer you money, I'm gonna offer you X, Y, and Z, but you got to put these lyrics out there, right? And by us becoming more by people in the music industry, by them becoming more individualistic, that's when we really lost those strong messages. Is there anything else you guys want to add to that?
Yeah, I definitely think there's been government intervention within the hip hop industry, because government regulates the FAA or the
FCC.
The FCC. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, I mean, I think he said something like, when the riots in LA happened with Rodney King, like Fight the Power was like one of the #1 songs during that time. Like Death Certificate, Ice Cube had put out some music that was saying like, this is LA gonna blow up if these cops get off. And the cops got off and the folks took to the streets. You know what I'm saying? But fast forward, when Sean Bell get killed, he got shot 50 times. The #1 song was Lollipop on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Like and so they was like, yo, if you hearing, F the system 5-6 times a day, like that's gonna be in your brain. You know what I'm saying? Like when something go wrong, you pumped up. But if you hearing, I'm sitting back and I'm just getting high every day, we just riding around going to party and look for the girls all day, like, man, I ain't thinking about no African liberation. Like my whole concern is on something totally different. And I ain't saying some brothers and sisters don't indulge. I'm just saying, like, they use the music as a pacifier, as a distraction to what's really going on. So if you ain't hearing about the issues on a consistent basis, like it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. I don't really care. It ain't got nothing to do with me. If my favorite artist is talking about it, though, it might make me listen up. I mean, and you can see that how they use what's the artist, Lil Baby, when he had that song, when George Floyd got killed, he came out with that song. It's bigger than black and white, and folks was like, "Man, this is it." Like he didn't really say too much in the song, but you know, for I guess for this generation, like this kind of spoke to the issue of what's going on to a certain degree to them. So that was significant during the time period because they ain't used to hearing nothing like this on the radio. So that's just a prime example of how the music can have a major impact on us.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. So going into like film, like what movies do you think actually like portray hip hop and why?
I'm definitely thinking. I'm definitely thinking. I would say. I know one of the first movies that showed me, you know, the clash between hip hop, like the conscious and the gangster rap, was like Boys in the Hood. And I remember that scene when dude was like, "Oh, that gets none of my play in my car." You know, I remember, you know, I remember that scene, and you know, they kind of woke me up to know that, you know, gangster rap was gonna be big, but at the same time, gangster rap was still a conscious type thing, because that it was still a reflection of what was going on in the neighborhood. They hadn't really just too much capitalized off of it yet, and it was a reflection of what hip hop was at that time. You know, Boys in the Hood. So, Rhyme and Reason, like you said, that was the big one. As far as like it was putting a microscope on what it is that you were saying. As far as like what is your purpose for what you're saying. You know, because you know, kind of back then, like in the '90s, when I came up, it was like you knew who was rapping for money, and you knew who was rapping for a purpose. You can distinguish them. You know, me and bro talked about this before. Like, I can hear something like I can hear a song and I knew it came from New York. I can hear a song and I knew it came from California. You know, now I hear music and I don't know where it's coming from. But I don't know. I would say Rhyme and Reason and Boys in the Hood for me kind of reflected what hip hop was during
those times. You got different. It's like different periods of hip hop. So, some of the earliest movies like Break In and stuff like that, kind of shows you like how hip hop was in the 80s and what that looked like in New York City. Being I'm from Arkansas, so I turned 10 in '89, so I ain't really see a whole lot of break dancing in the streets and graffiti. Like we saw graffiti on the trains that come through down here. So that part of hip hop didn't really transfer down here. You know what I'm saying? Because the big buildings and all that stuff, we don't have it. You know what I'm saying? So as far as like movies for us, and this is kind of like an underground classic, but like I'm About It by Master P was like major for us. This was a person who was rapping who made a movie that took place in the South, and you know what I'm saying. So it kind of gave you an idea of what street life and how that kind of converged in the music and stuff like that for us. Yeah, of course, Boys in the Hood, we ate that up, Minister Society. What's the movie that the brother was supposed to Terrence, what's his name? He played the brother from supposed to be in Memphis. Hustle and Flow. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, this is just kind of giving you an idea of some of the environments that people are coming out of to get into the game and stuff like this. But it's hard. I think Dave Chappelle put together. It wasn't necessarily a movie, but Dave Chappelle put the Dave Chappelle Block Party, where he had all of those artists come and perform, and he showed what it take to get them all together, and he inviting people in. Like, I enjoyed that because it was authentic hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Back out.
So what now?
He brought Lauryn Hill back out when he did that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Dead Prez rocking, like I think the Roots rock, Kanye rocked it. You know what I'm saying? So that was monumental, man, to see all of them, get on and do their thing. So yeah, I definitely appreciate what Dave Chappelle did with that. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't a movie per se, but yeah, that for me, that's that's what it was.
Excellent. So let me see what other questions I have. So what advice would you give to like aspiring artists that are coming up now? They're like, brother Obafemi, brother said, I want to get started in the music industry, but I don't know where. Like, what should I do? Like, how should I go about, my music career? Like, what advice would you give to young artists that want to get into the music industry?
I told my son, I said, because he said he wanted to rhyme, and I said, work on your craft, but most of all, what is your purpose of why you want to rhyme? What legacy you plan to leave? What do you plan to put out here that's going to inspire people? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that would be my biggest thing to tell the artists. And, it is good to make money off of this, but do understand at the end of the day, this is still you. It's a reflection of you. It's a reflection of our community. So make sure you understand what it is that you're doing before you do it.
My advice is, keep learning about your people and what our people have been through. Learn about our history. Learn about our culture. Learn about some of the artists that came before you. That to me would help to give you a certain level of respect about what it is that you're doing and why you're doing what you do. That's some of my advice. I introduced my son. Bro, you had told me about the documentary, 3.5 minutes, 10 bullets, about Jordan Davis. And so the brother was 17, in the car with a couple other brothers. White guy rolled up on him, and he didn't, he said his music was too loud. And shot 10 times in the car, hit Jordan Davis 3 times, killed him. And he claimed self-defense. And I'm bringing it up to say is, how many of our brothers and sisters have been killed by police, by white people, by our own people? Do you think that they was listening to Public Enemy? Do you think they was listening to Dead Prez. They had MCE in the deck. You know what I'm saying? Like they were listening to Common. They were listening to KRS-One. Like, and this not a knock on it. It's just saying the impact of what this music can have on your brain, on your mind, on your people is serious. Like this is not a game. It's not a joke. So I don't take what I do lightly at all. Like I take what we do very serious because I know what this can do to the mind. So
hey, we know it did it to us, you know?
Right. True indeed.
Right, I agree. Like, again, it goes back to the question that we had before, like, what's the responsibility that musicians or performers have in our community? And the answer is a huge responsibility. It's not just music. Like, you're putting out messages to our people, right? That can it can work in our favor or against our favor. So just keeping that in mind, like understanding your history and your culture, like what have we been through as a people? Understand like the people that came before you that paved the way for you, understand like, what you're getting into, like, you're helping people, like you can either uplift them with this or you can hurt them. It's a very powerful tool. So for those getting involved, we need to understand that and also like pay attention to who you're allowing to influence you. Like, right? Like what music artists are your inspirations? Right? Is it the people of today? Are they calling Black women these horrible names? Are they promoting violence or, drug culture? Or are they doing are they like saying like positive messages, like again, like unity, Black love, Pan-Africanism, Black nationalism? Like, what are you listening to? And what message do you want to put into your music? What message do you want to portray in like your craft and what you're doing? So thank you for that insight and that input. Another question that I had was like music in schools. Like it's been a minute since I've been to school, but like, do you think music is like taught the way it should be, like in the school system? If not, what can be done to improve on it, like make it better or more engaging for our students?
It's a trick question for me because
Yeah, me too.
well, I think as with anything with dealing with public schools, it's never going to be adequate for where we're trying to go as a people. Our music has to be something that's organic within our community, to whether that's at cultural centers, community centers, having community bands, things in our popular music has to be part of that instruction tool. But when most of that music is destructive, it's hard to use it in a positive manner for us, because some of the younger people kind of look at it as like, oh, y'all just hating on the young people. And it's definitely not, I'm hating on the youth, like, because the music that we had to listen to when I was young was toxic too. A lot of it was toxic as well. I think the schools have a responsibility. African-centered schools, I would say, developing programs to where we learn music history, music theory, learning more about tones and frequencies. There's a lot for us to learn in order for us to help heal and use this music as a tool for our liberation. So there's a lot of work that could be done, but personally, I don't see the public school, weighing in on any of that or using that in a manner. It may, you may learn an instrument and stuff like that, learn how to play an instrument, and that's cool. But as far as like when it comes to Black music, like unless you got a serious music teacher that's into Black music like this, you probably gonna miss all of that type of stuff. So
Yeah, I would say if they were teaching in school, before they can actually place the music, they would have to do the history and the background of the music, and especially Black people, and show them like the drums, the jazz, the blues. They have to have a history lesson before they can go in that. So the children at that age can understand exactly where this music we at now came from. And but I also would say this: I think it starts with the parents, the family, and the community when it comes to music. Like I can show my sons a song that's playing right now, and then show them something I listen to, and can show them jazz, so they can understand the difference between them and how it affects you. Like you said earlier, sis, when you said it affects your brain, so they can understand. Okay, I can see where this comes from. Because a lot of people, a lot of children now don't understand. Like when they hear in rap songs that some of the beats, some of the melodies, some of the words came from other songs even before our time. And they don't, but there'll be a history lesson for them that they possibly need to learn to understand that music didn't start with this right here. It started way before here. And it had a purpose of why it started to get to this point. But overall, I think it starts at home. And when they take it serious, when we start taking it serious at home with the parents, the school probably wouldn't have a choice but to understand, yo, this is something that's needed at the school.
Ashe, that is where, yes, it starts at home, and it starts at home with the parents and like what they, allow their children to listen to, like what type of music do they allow their children to, again, listen to. And, like we said before, that affects your psyche, like what you're being exposed to. And then when it comes down to African centered institutions, studying the history, studying the culture, and just like making sure like our upcoming like future, like our children understand like the legacy of music like this, like hip hop, and like the cultural impact that it had, so that way they have a better, again, appreciation, understanding of it. And that way they can like, differentiate between like, okay, this is what our music should be talking about, like what it should be mentioning, like positivity and uplifting our people. And then they can like, easily like, turn away from like, what's being put out there, like that negativity, that culture of like gang banging and murder and like drug culture. So yeah, it starts at home, and also our African centered institutions have responsibility in that process. So another question that I have, like considering MCE, like soul music, where do you guys see yourself 5 to 10 years from now in terms of like your music? Like where do you guys see yourself going?
So just some ideas and thoughts. I think that artists such as ourselves, we should kind of revitalize but upgrade what they used to call the Chitlin circuit. Like we need our own platforms that's supported by our institutions. In order to make any significant changes, we need a network of artists, because there's power in us working together. MCE as a group, we gonna do what we do, but there's a lot of us out here who are doing music like what we do. And I think the more we this network and have or create platforms like a streaming music service that's just playing this type of music, where you can have all access to nothing but artists. When you look up on here, all these artists is going to be pushing this. You know what I'm saying? Radio stations that do the same. Television networks. Like, I'm foreseeing within the next 10 years, these type of platforms being created for us to expand and performances. Like we perform, we've been doing a little bit of traveling here and there, but just for it to increase our exposure to us, to the music, and what we really stand for as individuals and as a group. Like, that's kind of where I foresee us going. So you can add on.
Yeah, my add on is you hit it right on the nail, man. But I'm also adding on, like you said, not only just that platform, but like you said, they're gonna be a younger generation behind us who want to do this music as well, and just using a platform like you saying, seeing the collaboration with other artists that they can see that'll be creating other artists underneath us. You know what I'm saying? So as a future MCE, I'm seeing, us doing that, like creating a younger generation of artists who are going to be on the same approach that we
Shay. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. Just based on like what I've listened to, I can see like this group going like far. It's like this type of music for me is like very refreshing. Like it's different in the sense that like it's not what like society is pushing out there, and like it again just brings me back to music that was once out there, like again, like back in the day, which is really good. It's just showing how, for me, Black artists, like we're taking back control of our music and what we want our culture to represent. So I'm really proud of like groups such as you guys. And honestly, I just wish you guys all the best, and I'll definitely make sure that you guys are I'll definitely share your music around with people. Again, guys, please check out MCE Soul Muzik in the description. Please check out their work. Very powerful to say. But please go out and support these brothers' work. Okay. Yeah, so please support these brothers' work and what they do for the community. It is definitely needed. Are there any like final comments or thoughts that you guys want to put out there before we end the live stream?
Hey, sis, I thank you for allowing us to be on your platform. I mean, this was a great experience, and man, hopefully more experiences like this, in the future, that we can have this kind of engagement again.
Yeah, I just add on, as always, great conversation. Had a great time. Make sure, like she said, go and follow MCE Soul Muzik. We on YouTube. We on all streaming platforms: Apple Music, iTunes, iHeartRadio. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram at MCE Soul Muzik. That's SOLMUZIK. You can also find me, Obafemi, on all social media sites: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Obafemi, and YouTube as well. So we got a lot of work coming out. We got our own podcast as well called Soul Speaks. So Soul Speaks Sundays. So we got some new content about to drop here soon. So y'all stay tuned. EP on the way, videos on the way. So yeah.
All right, you guys, that includes tonight's episode. If you really enjoyed this content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please be sure to go and check out MCE Soul Muzik. Please support these brothers in the work that they are doing. And it's highly appreciated. And you won't be disappointed. Please check out Brother Obafemi's 720 Sage Wear. And check out his merchandise. Please support the brother. Yeah, I mentioned them. Yep. Please support them as well. Just support these brothers and what they're doing. Like, we got to give our artists a lot of love, and just support them, support their work. And that's all I have to say from here. Thank you, Brother Obafemi and Brother Seth, for coming on today's show. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to share this information and your experience. And is there anything else you guys want to say before we wrap it up?
I'm gonna say once again, thank you, sis, for letting us on there. Black love equals black power.
Oh yeah. Stay tuned. We got the Race First Rally going on all across the U.S. in July this year. So got to plug the Race First Rally, Pine Bluff, Arkansas. This will be our 3rd year hosting the Race First Rally. So y'all, if you want to host a Race First Rally in your town, please get with Baba M. Hotep, 5TU, Baltimore, Maryland. So, we really putting in some real work out here, y'all. We ain't just talking. We walking the walk as well. So, yeah.
All right, so I'll definitely post the information as well. Baltimore, we're also hosting a Race First Rally in July. I believe it's going to be July this year. I'll post the information on the YouTube page for those who want to check it out. But yes, let's support our people this time, you guys. Let's come out and support the Race First rallies that are happening this year. Whether you're in Arkansas or in Maryland, please support the movement. Hotep, Race First, and I'll see you guys later. All right. Okay.